It's a little known fact that Mercy is deadly. She may look like a harmless healer, but nothing could be further from the truth. For once Mercy's after you, there really is no escape. You can try running, you can try hiding, you can even try getting a health pack and having a go after that. But even for Genji, who supposedly specializes in killing healers, there can be no escape. Even some of the most powerful ultimates in the game can only delay the inevitable, because Mercy will always get her prey. Not even Graviton Surge, not even Molten Core can save her foes from her mighty little pistol? Something like that anyway. Tanks like Reinhardt? Not a problem for the incredible Battle Mercy. But this time we will not be playing as Mercy. Instead, we will be going with D.Va, who is probably my favourite character at the moment. And we are actually in a competitive match. This is in fact one of my placement matches, which I thought went particularly well. I do actually have my microphone on for the game, so there are a few occasions where you'll hear my voice or breathing in the background, so apologies about that, try and disregard it. Anyway, we have got off to a bit of a miserable start so far. We tried to fly up to engage the enemy D.Va and just got absolutely wrecked by the other team, which means that we have lost our mech. Although we've landed some shots with our blaster to get another one, the enemy Zarya is right there, and unfortunately Zarya is a pretty hard counter to D.Va, and our mech gets utterly obliterated once again. At this stage I do actually consider swapping out heroes, because Zarya is just so strong against D.Va because of defense matrix being completely invalidated by her beam. But D.Va is my best and go-to hero, so I decided to stick it out for the moment. Zarya has a lot of charge and somehow has Graviton Surge up already, so that is the end of us. Respawning, we can move up and try and help out the team to push through this choke, diving right into the middle of everything. The other D.Va's mech has gone down, and we are able to start pushing up. Moving up, we can see there is actually the enemy teleporter there, which we're going to try and take out somehow, but there are a few too many enemies there for the moment. This choke point under the bridge is a particularly tough one to break on Dorado. In fact, it's quite possible to get stalled here for the whole game, which is something that we really want to avoid. Mercy seems to have overextended a bit, but we can't seem to punish her because she quickly rejoins her team. Our ulti is up though, so we might be able to make some use of that to zone out the enemy. Our failure to take out the Mercy does come back to haunt us, as she manages to get a resurrection off on the other team, but that is her ultimate burn for the moment, and eventually we do manage to get some kills and take her out, so we can maybe push forwards. Zarya is such a pain in the neck though, bubbling that Reaper to keep him alive, although I think we do get him. We can throw in our ultimate ability here. Unfortunately we're not able to get anyone, but it does force them off to cover. We are steadily forcing our way through the choke though. We got the rest of our team moving up behind, and the other team is steadily being driven back. I'm not entirely sure how a Junkrat trap got there, and indeed this is a pretty bad situation, but we are just about able to escape from Zarya's ultimate to escape the D.Va self-destruct, which I'm not sure how my teammates actually escaped from that. It's possible that our Lucio's ultimate saved them, but either way we do seem to be still in the fight and ready to continue the engagement. We are unfortunately unable to finish off that Symmetra because the other D.Va is blocking our path, and we have a little bit less health than her mech does, so that's not going to be a good engagement for us. Moving forwards, we can finish off the Mercy, and we can hunt down Junkrat and punch him in the face and then finish him off with a quick blast from our fusion cannons. One of the few things I'm really not so keen on about D.Va is that her fusion cannons are fairly hopeless, if you ask me. They have such a short range, and that means that they can't really chase down the enemy, especially considering that they slow down her movement speed so much. In fact, even the simple action of using her boosters to knock the enemy out of the way can put them out of effective range. Moving up, we can see that Zarya is very low, so we can push up and try and punish her. Although she uses her bubble, we can burn straight through that without taking too much damage ourselves. Our ultimate ability is right back up, so we will possibly have another opportunity to try and self-destruct all over some people. Although by itself, D.Va's ultimate is not likely to get too many kills, because the enemy does tend to move when they see a great big glowing mech coming towards them and trying to blow up on them. This next stage of Dorado is a little bit easy to push through, although I can hear a Junkrat tire coming, and that scares me a little bit, especially as we can't do too much to it with our fusion cannons. Oh, it's coming for us! Run! We only just managed to hold on to our mech there, left with only about 100 HP, and that tire does so much damage. If I remember correctly, it's about 1,000, which means that only really Reinhardt's shield has any chance of escaping it. Although that does not include Winston's barrier. We are going to drop off our ultimate here, and again we have very, very little luck with that. It seems like most of the enemies are already dead. Reaper's using his ultimate here, but is slapped by our team and is taken right down, and we are just getting sort of a little bit of poke damage on these enemies to pick up some eliminations without actually doing a great deal of damage. Zarya is split off from her team here, so maybe we can chase her down. She does look like she's got a lot of charge, but we have our whole team around us, which should be enough to finish her off. Again, her bubble is not going to save her because we can burn straight through it with our damage. We have reached the next checkpoint, which means we can start to move into the indoors area of the map. This is a little bit of a tougher area to push through because there are just so many choke points, especially around this corner. We can be held up there for quite a while. In the meantime, we'll just start knocking down these Symmetra turrets. In fact, there is even one on the front of the cart. I'm not entirely sure how that got there, but it's not going to last long. I'm not even sure why the other team still has a Symmetra, because her teleporter is not going to be much use when we're so close to the other team's spawn. We are actually getting really close to our destination with just the 2 enemy tanks holding us up for the moment, although I'm sure that the rest of their team will arrive soon, and that does include a tire which wipes out 2 of our heroes and forces us on the defensive. Our mech is destroyed, so we're just going to send a self-destruct into there. It does net us possibly 1 elimination, although I'm not even sure if that was from beforehand. We are really not having a lot of luck with self-destructs this game, and we are forced off of the cart and regrouping with our team at the moment. Uh-oh, the other D.Va self-destruct is incoming. Let's get out of here. We've just about managed to get to cover, but Zarya is coming to chase us down, and she has a lot of charge. It's a close fight, but we can't quite take her out, so we have lost our mech and are now back in pistol D.Va form. I do actually quite like the pistol. In fact, I would really like it if I could stick this on the mech instead of the fusion cannons. In fact, we are able to really quickly charge up our mech timer and get straight back in the fight, although we are nearly taken straight down once again by that Zarya. She is being a real pain with that much charge. We have flown into a bit of a tight spot here, with the enemy Mei right here, and she is going to use her ultimate, which means that we really do have to back out of this. That does mean that our poor Reinhardt is utterly doomed, and that Zarya is so low, and our team does manage to take her out. This could be the push that we've been waiting for, just a few more enemy characters in the way. We're going to drop off our self-destruct here and see if we can take them out. And finally we do have some results, taking out 2 of the other team, including the Mercy, which is very important. We're going to use Defense Matrix to shut down the enemy Reaper's ultimate, but we are forced to back up and get some more health when Zarya's Graviton Surge comes in. We actually came really close to finishing off the round there. We were just a few meters short. Zarya has gone down again, although there's another D.Va self-destruct, so we can just about get to cover. We do still take some damage, I'm not entirely sure how, but it does look like we have lost this engagement once again, and it is definitely best to fall back to the team and start up another push. We're absorbing a ton of damage for our team with the defense matrix, although we can't seem to actually get any kills right at the moment. Both teams just standing in front of each other and slugging it out, although that Junkrat has overextended a bit and we are able to take him down, although now we are trapped between a Mei and a Zarya, which are possibly the 2 best counters to D.Va, and a very horrible combination. Thankfully our healer is able to keep us in the fight, and we are able to push forwards on the back of Soldier 76's ultimate, and we have been given a nano boost, and we have been frozen straight away before we can actually utilise that. Although we are still able to push forwards and take out a couple of targets there. We're going to drop off our self-destruct here to try and zone out the enemy and hopefully prevent them from getting the contest in. Didn't actually hit anyone, and somehow that D.Va managed to avoid it, but with our whole team around, she is not going to last too much longer. We are in overtime, but the enemy team is just trickling in at this stage, desperately trying to contest, and we are able to clear them out and take the first round.
Nice
job,
guys.
Quick play match, then that'll be the end of it, and we would have won, but this is competitive, which means that we now have to swap sides and do the same from their perspective, which means that we have to stop them from getting the payload to the other side and hopefully try and hold them off for as long as possible so that they don't beat our time, which would of course win them the round instead. Some of our teammates have formed a fairly strong defensive position up here, so we are going to move up and join them so we can shield them with our defense matrix and give Reinhardt's barrier something of a break. Although we are taking some quite heavy fire from down there. Some of them have overextended around that corner a bit, so we can dive down and help to take out 2 of them. And they are forced back into retreat. just the soldier and the Zenyatta left by the looks of it, and Zenyatta is way out of position at the front of his team, so we are going to nip round the back and take him right down before the other team can respawn, and also delay them while they wait for him to respawn. So that is a nice clean assassination, and we can get right back to our teammates and get some heals. We are actually doing a really good job of holding them up right at the start line, which is buying us a lot of time and wasting a lot of their time. Oh, that Zarya is such a pain. She is just burning straight through our defense matrix and dealing some serious damage. She's retreated into that building, which means she is somewhat isolated and we might be able to take her out, although she does have a Reaper who is there to help her out, and our mech just evaporates, leaving us once more on foot and trying to charge up to get another one. We're just going to spam some pistol shots down here and see if we can land enough damage to get another mech, and indeed we are able to take out the Zarya all by ourselves, which is pretty good, and that's also enough to get us another mech. Our self-destruct is up for the moment, but we don't want to use that just yet. Instead we're going to dive on this Mercy and see if we can take her down, and indeed we can. The other D.Va is out of her mech, and that's probably what we want because she is a lot less dangerous outside the mech. We've been nano boosted, which means it's time to go all the way in and see if we can do as much damage as we can. We're losing health very, very quickly though, so it's time to just pop self-destruct to hold them up for the moment and buy us another mech. Possibly a little bit of a waste, but it does give us a second lease of life. Again, we can see that Mercy is way out of position, so we are going to try and dive in and take her out, which we can do, but the whole enemy team is there and we are in big trouble, so that mech is gone as well. Back on foot once more, trying to take down that soldier's MD6. Our team is starting to drop like flies, although Lucio has used his sound barrier. We have been ulted by Zarya, and that is going to be the end of that. I think that might have been a full team wipe, which allows them to push up quite some distance, although they did use, I think, 3 ultimates to win that fight, and we only used 1 or 2 to try and stay alive, which does mean that it was a decent exchange for us. Firing into Zarya's shield there turned out to be a bit of a bad idea because we couldn't even hurt her when it was broken, and we are in a little bit of trouble because it does look like they are going to get this checkpoint. That said, we have been nano boosted, which does give us a great opportunity to try and kill as many as possible and get them off the point. We can drop 1, we can drop 2, and that might be enough to actually hold the point for the moment. D.Va is having none of this because our team is moving up in support. Her mech goes right down and she is not going to last very long on foot. Can't seem to hit her though because she's such a small and evasive target. Much better to just fly up and punch her and let someone else finish her for us. Self-destruct is back up and the other team is running out of time with only about 30 seconds left. I think we might be able to take advantage of that when they overextend to try and get on the cart to force overtime. The only thing stopping me from throwing this right the way down there is Zarya with her bubbles. We can see 1 has been popped there, but we want to get the maximum effect as possible, so we want to wait until we can see 2 bubbles popped, then we can throw the mech in without any fear of it being completely negated by those shields. There are both of them, so it's time to send it all the way in and see if we can get some kills. That does earn us a triple. They had no chance there because Zarya had used up both of her shields, and that is going to be enough to win us the match. In terms of placements, I did actually win 6 of them, lose 3 and draw 1, which hilariously was the first one, and that was enough to get me into Platinum rank, somewhere around the middle of that rank, which I was pretty proud of. Whether or not I'll be able to stay there is quite another matter. But anyway, I do hope you enjoyed this. I'm sure there will be more videos of ranked play coming soon. Well, at least if I actually do anything good and manage to hold my own, that is. Do leave a like if you did enjoy this, subscribe if you haven't already and want to see more, and as always, I will see you on the battlefield.